Mark Skaar on the Skaar Kaard on 103.7 The Fox. I'm proud to welcome in Mr. Jamie Brown from Roxanne. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. The new record is called Stereotypical. Congratulations. I love it.
Good to hear.
I want to talk a little bit about the record itself. Of course, this is the third record. For those uninitiated, Roxanne was a band that existed back in the 80s, came back 30 years later with the second album called Radio Silence, and now the third one, Stereotypical. Jamie, tell me about, I know some of these songs were written way back when, and some of them are probably newer. Walk me through the writing process for this one.
Yeah, there are a couple on the new record that came together 30 years ago in a kind of a different form, and they just kind of sat there until this record, and we thought maybe we could rework them and change it around a bit and make it fit for this record. So that's what we did. One of those was Looks Like Rain, and I think we wrote that one probably around 1990 and had done a kind of a live recording of it, but it was arranged completely different. It was a regular 4/4 timing, rock and roll, kind of a White Snake-ish type ballad. And for the new record, we changed the time signature to 6/8 and kind of featured a piano and a bunch of singing, a little bit different. And then the other one on there is kind of a bonus track, and it's Nothing to Lose, which was on the first record, and the Rat Pack had just asked us to include it with this one, kind of a new recording of that song to include on the CD for a bonus. So it's not on the vinyl because it wouldn't fit without degrading the quality, but it's on the CD.
We're talking to Jamie Brown from Roxanne about Stereotypical. Before we started rolling, we were talking about videos, and the newest one is for the title track, Stereotypical, which I'm sure you're hearing a lot of feedback, Jamie, has a definite Thin Lizzy meets Queen vibe.
Yeah, I think if you read the comments, there's 80% of them comment on that, yeah. And most people are happy with that. There's a couple of haters out there that think that we shouldn't be playing music that sounds like Thin Lizzy for some reason. But we're all Thin Lizzy fans, and when we were writing the song, we said it's very Lizzy. Should we disguise that or just go with it? And we said, let's go with it. We love Thin Lizzy, and we're not afraid to admit that. And it isn't a copy of a Thin Lizzy song. It's just in the vein of the songs they used to write.
Absolutely. I love Thin Lizzy. Huge fan. And so tell me about...
There's two guitar. There's two of us play guitar in the band.
Yep.
And any opportunity we get to do harmonies, whether that's kind of where the Queen vibe comes from. We do a lot of Queen-type vocal harmonies as well as the Brian May guitar tones that we really love because it just cuts through better than any other sort of guitar tone for guitar solos is his tone.
Tell me about the video. You got kind of a little extraterrestrial theme, and you're playing in a kitchen. It's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. It's basically, it's supposed to be like a band house where the band all lives together, and I'm a paranoid conspiracy theorist, and the other guys think I'm crazy, and I'm trying to convince them not to drink the Kool-Aid, and they're drinking it anyway, and then there's some aliens, and there's some FBI, and there's some other weird stuff in there, and it turns out that the aliens are the FBI,
right.
And I wasn't crazy.
Correct. And ladies and gentlemen, there is actual Kool-Aid being consumed in the video.
Little secret nugget in there that one of the FBI agents is Kevin Balbies from the band Lit.
Jamie Brown is my guest from the band Roxanne. The new record is called Stereotypical, a Column Records because I'm old. Only a Call Away, a single that was the video treatment is In a Diner, and you're with the great Doug Pinnick from King's X.
Doug makes an appearance on the last record on Radio Silence. I won't say the title of that song because it might not be allowed to on the air, but so Doug and I did a duet on the last record, and basically kind of a leave me alone, get off my lawn kind of a song. And this song on this record, Only a Call Away, is a little bit different message about staying in touch with the old friends.
And another great video. And then Keep On Keepin' On, which features the great Jeff Scott Soto, and the video treatment for that is a 40-year class reunion. There's a little bit of coronavirus stuff going on, but in the end, everybody kind of comes around and is having a big old party and a lot of libations going on.
Yeah, it's a 40-year class reunion because it's the class of 1983, and we set it at 1983, so when the video was out, it would be set in the right time period for 2023. The song itself is it's not really about a class reunion or about any sort of coronavirus or anything like that. It's more about those of us who still buy rock and roll records and still live our lives like we did 40 years ago. And I didn't realize there were that many of us out there until we did Radio Silence. And then the warm welcome that we got on Radio Silence has opened my eyes. This whole community of people who still buy those records. They bought our record, and they buy all the Lynch Mob records and the KXM records. And we would go do gigs, and there was all these wonderful people out there. And you wouldn't know it from the things that are popular, and our kind of culture being put down. So that song basically is about those of us who are still rockers, and we don't try to hide it. We wear the clothes we wear because we wear our hair the way we wear it because that's how we want it to look. As weird as it might be, that's who we are, and that's who we've always been, and that's what that song is about. And then so setting it at a class reunion gave us the opportunity to say that, but then also show kind of what really happens at a class reunion where people will come with the front pretending to be that they've grown up, and after a few drinks, it's right back to high school again, and you're all behaving exactly the same way that you did 40 years ago.
Exactly, and there's all the different cliques that come in at different times. It's pretty great.
Jeff was kind of brought in. Jeff sang on that one song because the lyrics have the word Viking in it, and I thought, who better to sing chords with the word Viking in it than Jeff Scott-Soto. And then he appears as kind of the class clown in the video, climbing on stage with the band and wearing the Viking helmet. And in fact, the mascot for my high school were the Vikings.
Oh.
So it was perfect, yeah.
I love the outro. You hear a little Hendrix, you hear a little Zeppelin, you hear a little Aerosmith in the little solos that write the song out. That's a clever touch, too.
Yeah, we had that groove that we thought, wow, this is such a good groove, we need to hear it more, and then we did, and then based on what the song was actually about, that was the influence. Oh, let's send out a little salute to all our guitar heroes from that era, too, so there's little pieces of those solos in there.
Let's talk about Looks Like Rain. Guesting on that one is Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big.
I've known Paul probably since 1986, I think it was. And in fact, on the first Roxanne album, I borrowed Paul's Marshall because I didn't have a guitar amp that was worth recording at that time. And so I used Paul's amp for the album, and then we finished tracking guitars, put the head in my manager's trunk, and that night it was gone. So then I had to buy Paul a new head, so I still didn't have an amp, but Paul had a new one. And so we've been friends for a long time, and we've done some music together in the past when he was writing for, I think it was Mr. Big. Yeah, he was just presenting songs to Mr. Big. He would have me come in and do the vocals on some of these demos. And we've just been in touch ever since. And we had Looks Like Rain, and I thought, hey, let me see if Paul wants to play, because if he does, then I'm going to create a solo section that would show off his ability. And he said yes, and so that's what we did.
Yeah, and he's got that killer new Dio record coming out, too. So
he does.
I wanted to talk, too, about The Cost of Living. That's one of my favorites on the record. Tell me about that song.
Ooh, Cost of Living, kind of a sleeper on there. I was going to say it was the last one finished, but actually it was. Keep On Keeping On was the last one finished. But
okay.
Cost of Living was kind of right there within a day, trying to figure out how do we wrap this one up. It went through a bunch of different configurations before we settled on the one that it is. It's kind of a Bonnie and Clyde kind of a song, like a you and me against the world kind of a song. And cost of living is basically just a saying that means, but that's the cost of living a life that's worth living. That's it.
It works.
Hurdles that you have to, the hurdles that, get thrown in your way. You got to find a way to deal with them and get around it.
Lyrically, Jamie, how have things changed for you from the first record till now?
For me, personally, I'm probably, the other guys probably feel the same way, too. In your 20s, you write about things that matter to you in your 20s. And those things kind of change when you're writing in your 50s. You care about different things. So, and it's hard for me to write about something I don't care about. So I try to write my lyrics based on things that matter to me. And then if it feels too preachy, then I open it up and generalize it a bit more so it's not, because nobody wants to be preached to. I'm just throwing out suggestions on ways to look at things that might help people that are struggling with finding a positive way to look at things that might not seem so positive at the time.
And you've lived so much more life.
Yeah, definitely so much more life, but that's for sure. I mean, in your 20s, I think I said this the other day when we were writing lyrics, we weren't really concerned with what we were saying, but concerned with how we said it. We thought, it doesn't matter what you say, it just matters how you say it. Just say it like you mean it. It doesn't matter what it is. And then I hear that now, and I'm embarrassed that I said those things. So these records, I'm trying to look for shelf life and integrity for myself that I won't be embarrassed. And if someone were to ask me about it, I would have an explanation and a point to make.
Jamie, how's the record being received so far?
So far, nobody's sent me any threatening emails or anything, so I think it's going pretty good. The comments online, for the most part, are positive, except for the people who are upset that we did an ode to Thin Lizzy in one of the songs.
That's weird.
Otherwise, pretty positive. We stretched out a little bit on the record on this one, not really trying to worry about, is this the right style? Is this the right vein? But does this say something? Do we enjoy listening to it? Would we want to play it? Would we want to see it live? So we just went with it. We used a couple of the songs. I think 3, we used an actual string quartet on them. So any strings that you hear on the record, those are real players. We didn't use any keyboards to generate that stuff. We had some guys from the L.A. Philharmonic come in and do that.
Let's direct people to your socials so people can find out more about Roxanne.
Ooh, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't do anything with that. I know that we have a website at roxanneband.com, and I know that there's ratpackrecords.com. I'm assuming that's there. I'm terrible with that stuff, so I don't do it. But I'm sure it's easy enough to find.
There you go. Just search for Roxanne Band, and you'll find it. Stereotypical, the new record from Roxanne. Jamie, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
That's Jamie Brown from Roxanne. I'm Mark Skaar. You're listening to the Skaar Kaard, the new classic rock that rocks on 103.7 The Fox.